along with myself. David Cade's been involved in this, and President Tim Myers. So I'll take the helm here and maybe just walk through this. But our goal tonight, I'm sorry? Mike. Oh, yeah. Hello. So we'll walk through this, and again, our hope tonight is for all of us to leave empowered with what the plan is. Meaning, the best way to preface this, if you're like, I'm going a week early, I'm staying a week later, then tonight doesn't pertain to you. But if you're like, I want to fit into what the confines of what the course options are from busing and trains and housing and all that, then tonight's for you. And we'll certainly send this out and share it with you so you don't have to take copious notes. But there's just some important overall takeaways. So, without further ado, hope this thing works. Technology. I just hit you. Okay, so there we go. So the trip, May 23rd through May 26th. As we all know, this takes place right over Memorial Day weekend. So Monday we have off of work, which is great because that'll be the day we're flying home. And so this is the 2025 logo. I'll kind of walk around and block everybody. There's the 2025 logo, and it'll be the ambassadors of Harmony, and both the Spectrum will be the two guests. So we can go ahead and move ahead. I'm so excited to use my clicker. It's even got a laser pointer. Whoa. So here we go. This is where things don't necessarily get complex, but this is where you just need to put your thinking cap on as to where you fall into these options. So option number one is if you'd like to get over there a day early. So our first obligation is
So
not...
just to be clear,
yes.
Early means you can see the quartets on Friday. So the quartets will sing on Friday. So the first option allows you to see the quartets on Friday.
If you want to be there for the convention, correct. That's option one, because ambassadors will not have any obligations until Saturday, okay? So if you'd like to leave early, we're planning, the way we're budgeting all this is you'd leave in the evening, fly through the night, which is highly recommended, right? Fly through the night, and you'll get over there early morning the next day. So if we're looking at, again, this is kind of small, but we'll read through this. So if you want to leave a little bit early and kind of participate in the convention, see the quartets, get over there a little early, you would depart on Wednesday, May 21st. You'd fly through the night, land over there in the AM on the 22nd, right? So depart St. Louis, 21st, fly through the night, and arrive into London Thursday morning, no later than 1 p.m. Here's why. Ambassadors are currently scheduling buses that we can use to travel down to Bournemouth together. So when you land in London, we've got about a 2-hour hike down southwest, down to the water, okay? So what we want to do is, even if you land at 6 a.m., cool, just go take the bullet train to London Heathrow and go to Paddington Station, okay? So you're going to land, get your luggage, do any claim stuff that we have to do, get on the train, or the bullet train, and either the regular, is the bullet train? Bullet train.
It's an express train.
Express train, yeah, I'm telling you all about this. Takes you to Paddington Station, which is the hubbub of town, right? You can go hang out, put your bags, they got lockers there for your bags. So if you arrive on an early flight that gets you in at 6 a.m., you're like, geez, I got 5-6 hours, go hang around town. Because we will have a Ambassador of Harmony bus leaving, where does it say that?
Bottom.
Oh, thank you. Can't sit too close to it, right? We'll have a bus that leaves from Paddington at 4 o'clock on Thursday.
Wednesday.
That make sense?
Thursday.
You leave on Thursday.
You leave Wednesday, you get there Thursday. So this is a Thursday bus. So you're getting down there to hang out, and then the next day you can enjoy the convention and all that. So note down here, what's my note say? The above option gives you the extra day to go hang out either in London if you want to take your own transportation, or to get down to the Babs convention prior to any AOH obligations.
And they are paying for every AOH member to have a full convention pass. So you'll be able to experience the full convention when you're there. So if you are interested in watching this, that's the option you want. That's the minimum option you want.
Cool? Makes sense? So if you're like, I can't take the extra day, I don't want to leave on Wednesday or Thursday. Great. You can leave Thursday evening. So if you think about this, you'll only be required to take 1 day off of work, which is amazing, right? So we'll leave Thursday, fly through the evening, and we want to make sure that your flight, that you get there by 11 a.m. So you're going to take probably a 6 or 7 p.m. flight from St. Louis, fly through the night, get to London, make sure you're there no later than 11 a.m., because you can take the bullet train to Paddington Station, hang out, and then we will have a departure time of 2 p.m. So this gives you 3 hours to get a bag, get the bullet train, and get there. We'll have a scheduled bus at 2 p.m., which will get us down there basically Friday night. Is this all making sense?
Space bar. Just get the space bar.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what's next on the slide. Oh gosh, oh gosh. Okay, whoa. Oh, my clicker's now working. All right, here we go. Okay, so we walk through this. I saw that first. Just stand out there. So, that was option 1, and option 2 as far as departures, if you want to stay within the confines of what the ambassadors are offering. If you're doing your own thing, not applicable. So let's talk about housing. So now we've landed, we've taken the bus down to Bournemouth, now we're in Bournemouth. Here are the housing options. We have the Royal Bath Spa Hotel, which is the convention headquarters, where all the activities happening, right? A little more pricey, but you can see our options. The Hampton by Hilton. Okay, you can see the rates for a double and twin and occupancy there. So it might be a good time if you say, hey, I want to go solo, I'm going to be $103. If I want to do a double occupancy, it's $126. You guys are smart enough to figure out the math. Things to note, convention headquarters is here. Hampton Hilton is 0.5 miles away. So when I put all this into Google, it says it's about a 9 to 10 minute walk. Okay? The Bournemouth bunkhouse, no frills. It's literally a room with a bunk bed. Is my understanding.
It's a hostel.
It's a hostel.
It's a hostel.
Got it? So it is inexpensive. You can see the rooms are roughly $30 per person per night. It is 0.7 miles from the convention center. And maybe Kelly, you know, I mean, I don't know if they got.
So anybody who's traveled in Europe before, hostels are a very, very different thing than they are anywhere else. They're a very, very common option for student housing, temporary lower cost housing. They are very much safe, especially in a place like Bournemouth. It's a very safe option. And there will be all kinds of buses to take you from any of the surrounding areas to where the performances are. So lots of bus options. You don't necessarily have to walk.
Got it? So A, B, and C will hold all questions till the end of the tour, please. But again, we'll share this with you so you can look and digest, start to talk to buddies. Hey, let's do the bunkhouse. That'll be fun. We'll get 5 of us. Hey, let's share a room. So you guys can digest this and start to, I say, make your own plans accordingly. So we're down there. We're at the convention. You've got your place of for rest in the evening, right? You got your hotel. Now we've sung, we've done the shows, we've partied. It's gonna be awesome. Now we gotta get home. So on Monday morning, London, right, in England, we're gonna charter a bus or buses, depending on the head count, departing from Bournemouth back to London Heathrow around 7 a.m. Okay? Because we need to get back up there to be able to catch a 1 o'clock flight or around noon-ish. So, as I've noted down here, if you depart London around 1 p.m., if your flight's around 1, you'll get back to St. Louis around 8-ish. Okay? Assuming you don't have any crazy layovers, etc. There was a... Oh, maybe it's on the next slide. Okay, we're good. Okay, so you can go back one slide so everybody understand if you want. Again, some of you are staying longer, not applicable to you. So if you want to use the services going down there, great. If you don't need them on the way home, fine. But that's just some of the stuff we need to know. So does everybody understand this? This is how you get home, the middle of a time. Okay, next slide.
So Johnny, the only buses that AOH is arranging are the 2 times of the days and the 1 going back.
That is a correct statement, Chris. Yep, so we'll have 2 buses on 2 different days, or say however many number of buses we need. One that will be on Thursday to get you down there, and one that will be on Friday.
And if you miss the bus and you don't want to take the bus, there's plenty of trains to get you to Bournemouth. It's just going to be cheaper for the chorus as a whole to get a bus than it will be for you to get your ticket. So our cost per head will be cheaper on a bus than it will be if every single one of us buys a ticket on a train to get down there.
Pretty significant savings on the bus. So
I'm just gonna have one thing on the flights. If you do Wednesday, right now the flights are like $300 or something cheaper than if you do Thursday.
correct.
Yeah, they're significantly cheaper.
So if you actually left Wednesday and stayed at a hotel, you'd still save money.
Yes, that is a true
Can't
statement.
afford not to.
So I kind of.
Johnny,
Yes.
spouses, can they own our buses?
Yes, so we'll talk on that in a minute. So, here's a ballpark price range, right? So flights range from anywhere from $850, $1,200, $1,300. So if you leave it on a Wednesday, bam. If you leave it on Thursday, Friday, not ideal from a flight price perspective. The bus and trains around $100, $150. Hotel and lodging, again, from anywhere from $40 a night to $130 a night. Food estimations been $200, $300. You figure spending $50, $60 a day for the 3 or 4 days. That's ballpark. based on your palate. Other miscellaneous expenses, if you're spending $5 for the bus one way and back. So I just kind of said, okay, if you had to go on the skinny, what would that look like? So go ahead and go to the next. So I said on the high end, if you end up getting the $1,200 flight, staying, $100 bus, expensive hotel room, you spending $300 on food, you're probably in the $2,300 range. If you want to go on the cheap, if you can get the inexpensive flight, stay at the bus, the cheap hotel for 3 nights at $30, $40, $200 for food, miscellaneous expenses, $1,370. Ballpark numbers, right? So that is where I'm going to hand things over to Tim.
So one other comment on this, I think the buses, we're working it out with the Babs folks on the buses and with the chorus. Those will probably be something you don't have to pay for, but if you get your train ticket, you're going to be getting your own train ticket. So if you take the bus, I expect it to be no cost on the bus. We're putting it in there for you to just kind of budget for it because we're not exactly sure. But the bus should be free, but the train will cost you probably $100 to go around.
Correct. So we are still negotiating. So this is kind of worst case scenario. Everybody's buying their own stuff in this scenario. If Babs comes and says, hey, we'll take care of buses, we'll help out with rooms, whatever that looks like, we'll certainly let you know. But hopefully this just paints a holistic picture as to when you can leave, the day options that ambassadors will have resources, be it the buses and all that stuff. If you're doing something on your own, that's totally fine. You can do that as long as you're down there by the time we need to sing, and all those details are being solidified as well. So before we move on, any major, like super important global questions? Does everybody understand at least the options that we're presenting here to leave a day early and enjoy the convention? Or if you need to go for the minimal amount of time, you can leave on Thursday evening from St. Louis and only take 1 day off of work. Questions on that so far?
And the agenda for the competition is Friday is the quartets, Saturday is the chorus. We have obligations on Saturday, and then on Sunday there'll be more chorus and more obligations on Sunday. So we have obligations on Saturday and Sunday as a chorus.
There was originally mentioned something possibly in London as a choral.
That's
Good. Yeah, I know we talked about that. Unfortunately, just securing a spot is very expensive. It just logistically just didn't work out, which is that's totally fine. So I can't remember what my next slide is. Tim, you might be on. So this is ballpark numbers, subject to change as always, but this is where we're at right now. So I will let Tim Myers talk to you.
So how are we going to help with this? And I know a lot of people have been asking, like, is there going to be a stipend? How are we going to do this, et cetera? And I've done some back of the napkin work. It'll get more refined as we go through the next couple of months. But at a minimum, our plan is to have a stipend available between $700 and $800. Our goal is to have that stipend get up to $1,000. So that's not there anymore. That'll pay for a lot of it. As you find ways to split rooms and do different things, you can find ways to bring your price down. Basically, the amount of money it would have cost us to take you to international with your pass and your stipend and all of that, plus the money we're raising through the corporate gig we're doing here in a month and the Netflix thing we're going to be doing are adding to that. Now, how can we make that bigger? How can we get to 1,000 plus for each guy? Christmas show sales, trivia night sales. We need to support these things because these are what are going to help us offset those costs. Yes?
And also Cardinals fundraiser money, this is eligible.
For those who earned it, yeah, but there's not many, there's only a handful of those guys left, yeah. So those guys can use that money as well. So if you do have Cardinal money, this is a great way to use it. You have to use it by the end of next year anyway. Also, for those of us who are fortunate enough that we don't need the $800 to $1,000, anything that is donated back will not go into the operating fund. We want to give that, we want to spread that out for those who are most in need of having that more offset. So if you're a kind of guy that the stipend's nice, but I don't need it. We got guys who need it and would really appreciate having that opportunity to get to the 13 or closer to that 1,300 that they're going to have to cover for that weekend. So that would be appreciated as well. So that's our goals. I don't see us doing anything less than between $700 and $800 because that's what we would have done for you to go to Denver or wherever anyway. So it kind of offsets there, but the additions are these shows and these special events and the fundraising things that we're doing to help bring that a few more dollars to each guy that goes. All right? Any questions? Yes, sir.
Do you think that the stipend might be given out in portions? So like if you could buy your flight early, you're not having to, go with that for a while and we don't know exactly how much it's gonna be, et cetera.
So that's not the plan, but in the past we have, and I haven't talked to Ray about this, so hopefully Ray's not gonna have a heart attack. In the past, what we've done for those guys who can't front their airfare, they've had a special payout, and then that's reduced from their stipend when we hand out the stipend in probably April or May is probably when we'll hand that out. So if you get your ticket and you're like, I can't pay for this ticket, come talk to us and we'll set up an agreement with you that we will take that from your stipend later. So you won't be stuck. You can get today's prices that are $800 instead of waiting until it's too late to get that kind of a price.
Yeah, and if anybody's wondering why we're meeting at Paddington Station and why we're not just picking you up at the airport, 2 reasons. One, if you want to get there early, you can go to London, see London, get 2 days early, spend some time in London. Paddington Station, you can get to Paddington Station from anywhere in London. Like just
Center of town.
Center of town, get there, and then all you have to do is get there by 4 o'clock on that Friday, and then boom, you got a bus to Bournemouth. It's all taken
2
care of.
o'clock on Friday.
2 o'clock.
4 o'clock on Thursday.
4 o'clock on Thursday. You take the bus down to Bournemouth, but it gives you the opportunity to spend at least that day that you get there in the morning in London, or if you want to spend a couple days on the front end, you can go to London. On the way back, when we take the bus, we're going to drop you straight off at the airport. It's not to the station and then this and the other. But if you're wondering why we're not going to the airport, it's to make it so that we can all have a hub and not be sitting around some people might be sitting around the airport for 6 hours, and that's not very fun. So that's why we did that.
Mr. Cade.
Yeah, 2 things. For those of you that have not got your passport or don't have a passport, you need to be thinking about getting that now. If you have one and it's going to expire sometime next year, you need to get one. You need to get it renewed.
Yeah, the rule is within 6 months. And there's one other thing if it's gonna expire within 6 months of travel. And there's one other thing I'm trying to investigate is I came across a thing that said that England is now gonna require an entry document as well. That I don't know enough about yet, but we need to make sure you all have that entry document as well. That'll go with your passport.
There may be a $10, $10 or $20 entry pass.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what it is.
It's like a visa.
I sent you the article because I wasn't sure.
It's
So
like a visa because of the
what David said is right though. Look, if you've got a passport, check the expiration date. If it's within 6 months of May 31st, get it released.
If it's in 2025 at all, or
Just get it
newer,
renewed.
you need a new one.
And then David, you have another
Yeah,
one?
and the other thing is, we've already got some performances scheduled for both Friday and Saturday. They're thinking about
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday, I'm sorry. And they're thinking about adding some more on both of those days, maybe a master class when
We'll be busy.
time that day. So don't schedule anything for those 2 days, please.
That's good. And one other nice bonus thing, Dave Schuler has offered to help put together any tours for anybody that might want to go early or stay late. And he's going to be looking to understand who might want some of those benefits that you get. Dave, you all know him. He's our tech producer for our shows and a longtime emeritus member and longtime member and front row choreographer for a long time. So he knows the chorus really well, and he's been doing these tours. So it'll be we'll be sending out a thing asking who might be interested in doing any tours in England, etc. And he'll help get those set up.
And if you do want to stay in London after the trip, you could take the bus, or you could get your own transportation, but you take the bus to the airport, and then from the airport, you go to wherever you want to go.
Chris Reyes.
Now, I know the flight said departing from St. Louis.
Yeah.
Are we opposed to departing from Chicago?
You can depart from wherever you want. You just got to be there on those days.
It's
So-
not.
So it's cheaper if you drive up to Chicago, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the way that we've structured this is depending on which day you're flying in, and if you'd like to participate on the bus, just be there by those times.
Yeah.
Get there however the heck you want to get there, take a boat.
Yeah, you
As long as
can
you're there.
you can go to Nashville, you can go to Chicago, and Kansas City. It doesn't matter. Chicago's probably the cheapest place.
So JT, here's what we need now. Now that you have just at least framework to operate off of, we're going to send out a survey, and it's going to ask a handful of questions such as, Do you want to participate in the ambassador's service offerings here? Yes or no? Do you want to take the Wednesday bus or the Thursday one? Yes or no? Are you bringing a spouse? Yes or no? Which, as
Children
far
are
as
included in
housing, which one would you like to stay in? Because we need to tell them, hey, block 30, block 5, this one's sold out. Like, we just need to start putting some pen to paper and being able to provide them what the ambassadors need. So if you can, please take that survey seriously. So I understand you have to do some due diligence, talk to significant others, wives, work, all that stuff. But we just need to, we need to chip away at this really quickly so that we can secure and get preferential treatment. If we want to get a lot in the convention center, then we want to book those rooms
If you're
ASAP.
80%, say yes. If you're 80%, say yes.
Yes.
So the survey answers are not a binding commitment,
No.
they're like what I think I'm going to do.
Not at all. No, this is
Still
just
6 months out, it can't be binding.
this is just a pulse to say we got 12 guys that want the bus, or we need 64 guys that want the bus.
Do we get the short bus?
So does everybody
baritone
understand
bus.
what we're operating off of here? So just, it basically tells you when you need to be there by. We've tried to give about a 3.5 hour buffer by the time you land in London to get your bags, get on a train, and get to Paddington Station, whether you come in on Thursday or Friday. So that gives you that window right there. Once we're down there, we're gonna party. It's gonna be an amazing time. I've heard from so many people over in Europe, they already got their tickets. They're already starting to sell them online. So it's gonna be.
They're coming from all the countries.
It's gonna be awesome. So I appreciate Tim and Ray and all them for the stipend. I think that's a we're very fortunate to get a large chunk of this paid for. So if you're, if you don't have the means, put $100 away, and your trip is paid for by the time we get there. If you
start
can do
doing
that. So I'm very, very excited about this.
JT's got a question.
Not a question, statement. To save money too, if you do one-way flights, they're sometimes a lot cheaper than round-trip flights, so you can check that option. However, sometimes the one-way back is not available, so just hunt around, because I'm looking at one right now for myself and my wife, $520, both of us to fly there, if you buy it now. So then, the fly back date may not be available, but that's an option.
Let's go Todd.
There's also flight clubs. The one I belong to is Going. It's called Going. It used to be Scott's Cheap Flights, and every day they have emails come to you, and there's always Great Britain, Europe, and all that stuff on there. So they use Google Flights, and Google is usually really good.
If you want to know who not to use, ask Eric Dalby, because when we were going to go to Belgium, Eric and group got kind of hosed on the flight, so he'll tell you who not to use. Do you have a question?
TSA, Britain is 7 hours ahead of time from where we
Yeah.
currently are. So if you have trouble with jet lag, maybe keep that one in mind. My mom heard it.
Jet lag, you guys can figure that out.
So, any other global questions? So, the survey will go out here in the next day or so. Please talk to your significant other, talk to your buddies, text, whatever you need to do to expedite getting the survey completed. Another question, DC?
Yeah, to that point, just keep in mind too that this is a convention. There's gonna be choruses, quartets that are gonna be converging on there. So it's gonna be imperative that we do this in a timely manner to get them the information they need as to how many of us are gonna come.
And as we said, it is not binding. It's just like, hey, I'm planning on going. Want to go?
8%.
I'll figure
We
out
just gotta
how to make it work.
get the hotels figured out, and we gotta figure out this bus situation.
Ross.
So we will orchestrate convention passes for chorus members.
Yes.
Non-chorus members?
We'll have to purchase them, I'm assuming, kind of like international. So we'll figure out some of those details for significant others.
I'll take that as a note to ask.
That's a good question, because none of us thought of that, so thank you, Ross.
I thought about it on my way here.
All right.
Chuck?
Regarding, is AOH blocking the rooms so that when you go, the rooms will be
We'll
there,
let you know.
or do we do this directly with the hotel?
We will take care of it based on the survey, because they have room, it's very much
We
like
can't go
international.
by right now is the question.
Correct. We're giving our numbers to them in the hopes that they block out.
We'll let you know,
So,
if you want one of those hotels, you could go get one yourself. It might cost different than what the rate we might get for you.
Correct.
And you could cancel it, and then you could say, I don't want a hotel.
When are you sending this out?
I'll send this out tonight. I mean, I'll send this deck out so you guys can all look at this and share it with others and start looking at flight times and all that stuff. So we'll wrap up questions. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for us who are new, when will a set list be, decided?
March.
January. We'll have it all. We'll have January. They'll give you 4 months. You'll be fine.
Stuff we're working on, we'll be working on in January, so.
Our plan is to
Current
learn.
repertoire list is one to start paying attention.
We'll learn some new
It will be
songs.
parts of that.
Okay.
Okay, we got a ton of other stuff to get to. Any other questions? Okay, clap 3 times for England.